was a person who dedicated all of his energies for the furtherance of Torah mitzvahs, whoever it might have been. His house was always open. He was a tremendous Baal Chesed and a wondrous Meiki Rabbanan. I met him several years ago. He found out where I stayed. I was staying with my sister and my mother, Sein Gesund, and in order to ensure that he could have me as a guest, called up my sister and invited her and her son and my mother so that we could get together and get to know each other. And that started a relationship that was very, very special, very personal. But I'd like to express not just how he treated people, with kindness, with love, made them feel at home. He was a man who tried to help and do things for the person, without smothering the person. I witnessed how he conducted his Suda Shabbos with simplicity and with love, how he had guests. He always wanted to have guests at his home, and how his wife, his Eshes Chayil, produced such marvelous meals that she cooked herself, and how he honored her and she honored him. And after that was all done, sometimes late at night, at 11 o'clock on Friday night, every Friday night, for I think 29 years, 28 or 29 years, Reb Yosef had a chavrusa, and they studied Or Chaim HaKodesh, the entire Or Chaim HaKodesh. They would be done about 2 a.m. Then they would take some of the cholent for tomorrow, for the next morning. His chavrusa, you forgive me, I don't remember his name, is a Levi. This part of Hatzalah went out for his Hatzalah round. And Reb Yosef was always from the first to the Beis Medrash the next morning, despite having gone to sleep somewhere between 2 and 3 a.m. He was always on time. He was always from the first in the Beis Medrash, always early. And his davening was with enthusiasm and sincerity. And his words were always with enthusiasm and sincerity. He made great friends with the Satmar Rebbe and with Reb Shmayo Gurari, the Rebbe's brother-in-law, Olav Shalom. He was at home with both of them. One Satmar, the other Lubavitch. The Satmar came to Far Rockaway because in the summers Brooklyn can be brutal. In order to be able to have some respite, he stayed nearby, and he needed a mikveh. And Reb Yosef built him a mikveh in his own home. And that mikveh became open to any person who needed to. To this day, it's open for anyone who needs a mikveh. He told me that he asked the Satmar Rebbe how come he never talked to the government of Israel. And the Rebbe told him that when you talk to someone who's at an opposite position, you have to be willing to negotiate and to give a little, and the other person gives a little in order to come to a happy medium. So he says, I don't have what to give away. The Torah and mitzvahs the commandments of God are immutable. I can't give anything away, so I have nothing to negotiate with them. That's why I don't meet with them. He also had tremendous respect for Lubavitch and was the president of the Lubavitch dinners for over 25 years. And he told me that he personally knew over 25,000 people whom he met at those dinners. He was deeply involved in tzedakah, in all kinds of tzedakah. And when the federal government had a sting operation on many of the donors who give to the Orthodox causes, he was a target. He was a target, and a close associate of his, who was also a target, had gotten a lawyer. So he went to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and asked him what he should do. He's a target of a federal investigation. And the Rebbe told him he doesn't need an attorney. The best attorney are the dollars that he gave, the things that he did for tzedakah. That they are the best attorney that one can have. He told this to his friend who had hired an attorney who was a Lubavitcher Chosid. And the man said incredulously, "But you're going to hire an attorney, aren't you?" He says, "What, are you crazy? The Rebbe told me I don't need one." And he didn't hire an attorney. And the feds investigated him for 7 years and went over every single scrap of paper in his business and in his home. And they couldn't find anything. And they spent millions of dollars. And they gave up, because there was nothing to find. But they were looking for something. Usually when feds look, they find something. But the dollars and the activity that he was involved in tzedakah protected him, so that he came out without any harm. Another story he told me, he would go with the Rashag, Rabbi Gurari, who was responsible for the Lubavitcher Yeshiva. He went to an office where the donor said, "Rabbi Gurari, if you want that amount of money," apparently Rabbi Gurari needed a large amount of money, and he said, "I can give you that, but I also have a need." And he described his need, which was very significant and was coming to a head in a few weeks. And Rabbi Gurari promised him that nothing would happen to him, that he would be fine. I don't know the details of what was promised, but Yosef Wassner was astounded. After leaving the office with the check, Rav Wassner says, "Rabbi Gurari, how could you do that? In a few weeks you'll have to return that money." And the Rashag told him, "Listen, my father-in-law, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, gave me the power to bless. But he said I must use that power judiciously, and I do." The money didn't need to be returned. Till he died, Rav Wassner would go to the gravesite of Rav Shmerel Gurari on the day of his yahrzeit, for he knew more than anyone else the true greatness of that man, how he struggled and was able to develop the Lubavitcher Yeshiva to be a beacon of light for all of Klal Yisrael. And of course, he had a special place in his heart for Satmar, and a special place in his heart for Chotka v'Chasidim, and a special place in his heart for every Rav and every person who works for Torah mitzvahs. I saw it myself. I saw it in how he treated me and he treated others. He was a remarkable person, remarkable in every sense of the word. I respected and loved him, and he will be missed.